welcome back to part 5 of the electric bike series. Today we're going to be doing a lot of the amenities things because I finished the battery pack. That's all up and functioning, but I still have a lot of things to do. I got to get all the throttle and everything on, get all of the speed controller all mounted to it, and see, I have to get the brakes back onto the front. Don't really know how I'm going to do that, and I have to true the front wheel because it's just completely out of true. Now, issues. A, I don't know how to true wheels. B, I know how I'm going to get the brake on, but I'll figure that out. Anyway, yeah. So I think I'm going to be starting out with putting this on. So I'm going to bring the bike over here and let's go. Okay, now that that's on, I think the next step is to get this little case on here, get everything cable organized. Also, I thought of an idea for the battery casing so I don't have to learn 3D printing. So, a while ago, I had a birthday party, and I used this giant soccer ball. It's a 6-foot play soccer. The thing is, no one ever really wanted to play that. But if I cut that up, I could make it into sheets that I could use to make the casing, and I wouldn't have to learn how to 3D print plastic. And all I'd have to do is seal the edges, and I can make a pretty nice case that's thick. I'd use like 3 layers or something like that for insulation. So I think that's a great idea, and now back into all the wiring and everything. Yeah, I don't really get what the point of this case is because it doesn't fit the thing. Like, what's the point of this if it doesn't fit? So I guess I'm gonna have to mount it some other way. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Now, I'm not using this bag as it's intended to, but my plan right now is to put some caulk in right here so I can waterproof this a bit, and then I'm just running all the cables into here to not give it water resistance, but to give it a little bit of resistance to water. So now all I gotta do is get all this wired up because this hasn't been plugged in and everything. I just wanted to get this nice and set up with the speed controller. And then for the battery, I want to put it here, but it isn't going to fit. So I really do need that back bike rack. Also, this weekend I did go and try to buy a back bike rack, but the local bike shops don't have them with disc brakes because apparently bike racks aren't really normally used on mountain bikes, which who wouldn't want a bike rack in a bike they ride around in the mountains? I don't know. So I'm gonna have to look online for one of those, but then once I get that and I get the battery pack sorted out, this is looking like it might be finished soon. Okay, so I have succeeded in cable managing and everything, which looks pretty good now. Now, I forgot I still have these things to do, and what these things do is got the brakes, but the reason I need these brakes is because think about this. Throttle's all the way up, hit the brakes. If I don't tell the motor to stop, it's just gonna go full horsepower into the brakes, which is terrible. I do not want that to happen, especially if I don't want to have to replace my brakes every day. So what this thing does is it basically not only pulls the brakes, but it also just sends a signal to the motor to like, hey, cut it out. Now, the issue is my gear switcher thingies, whatever these are called, sorry for people that actually know bikes, they just have the brakes built in, and it doesn't look like separated it. I don't really know on this one. So my plan for now, I'm probably going to make a less jank version in the future, but my plan for now is to just like put this one here as well and just have them both or something, or put it here. So the I can still have the brakes like that, but still have the switcher. I'll have 2 pairs of these brake handle things, which is gonna look kind of silly, but you know, what can you do? I just want to get this thing up and running. Okay, so I made a bunch of progress. Again, this looks super jank and is kind of super jank because I have like the one brake here. This isn't connected, but like you have the gear switching, so that's kind of a pain. But I'll have to deal with that. And I got all the cables, which again looks super jank, running into this bag to help a tiny bit with waterproofing. I'm going to have another episode working on waterproofing. But everything's zip tied up and looks a little better than before. And over here, I got the brake working. I had to replace this washer here because it broke. But lo and behold, if I hold down this, the tire does not move. It's not perfect, it still rubs a bit, but it's not bad. Also, what I found by looking at these spokes is if you look at one of these spokes, they're completely straight. But if you look at one of these spokes, they're bent. The spokes are bent. Like that's not good. It's just not straight. So I don't even know if truing a tire like that is even possible if the spokes are bent. I'm not gonna replace the spokes. Hello, I am back today, if only for a little bit, and what I want to do for now is I want to do a test to see how long this thing can go on a charge. So what I'm going to do is just plug in the battery and then use this to tape down the throttle and just see how long it goes for. It is now going, and I'm going to leave it here for like 10 minutes, come back and see how it's doing. Also, this thing has a battery meter, so I can check it. Seems to be pretty good, taped into place, so let's hope it doesn't blow up. Okay, so, this has been going for about 20 minutes. The batteries seem cool, calm, and collected. Like, they're actually pretty cold. It's still full of energy. This thing isn't breaking a sweat. It's nice and cool. Pretty awesome. Also, I put this on a plastic bag as to not start any fires because I really don't want to have to deal with a fire right now. Hopefully this shouldn't cause any sparks. There's no heating, so there shouldn't be any issues, and then just put plastic on here so there's no possible source of sparks. So let's continue the testing. Okay, so the wheel, it sounds lower pitched and it seems to be going slower. But the energy meter still says it's full. This isn't hot, this is still cold. But I'm gonna plug it into the thing just to see what the voltage is at because I do wonder. Okay, so let's just get it set up and test this. And if it's still at a good voltage, I'm gonna go back to testing, and if it's not, well, I'll kind of wonder why the meter says it's still full. Okay, let's turn this off. And unplug this. Also, I really need to get a cutoff switch for these cables because every time I plug them in, they spark. Like, watch this. It's going to 100% spark. No, it didn't spark. And it's at 52 volts, which is actually a really low drop. Like, it was at 53 volts before, and it can go down to like 35 or 32. So I think that this bike might actually have many more hours of running like this because it really hasn't dropped voltage much. It's been about 35 minutes-ish. So then if we go down here, that's a little more light, and plug in and you'll see the spark, and that's really the reason I need to buy that cutoff switch for this, so I can plug it in without sparking and just turn it on. So let's plug this in. No spark, actually. That's kind of sick. Maybe it's just because the voltage is really high when it's fully charged. So let's just turn it back on. Let's go, let it go back. There we go. So plug this in, tape it up. And I'm probably going to give this another half an hour and come check on it. So let's go. Okay, time to turn you off. This thing has been spinning for like 2 hours now. Actually, it has been 2 hours now. And it hasn't dropped in charge basically at all. It's still at full. And I bet you if I plug it into this thing, it's going to say that it's at 40 volts. So let's check this out. And you can see like that, it's dropped 2 volts over 2 hours. And I really don't think that just running the bike like that, not doing much, is putting much, if any, strain on the bike. Basically though, the battery seems to be a-okay. I ran it for 2 hours. I know it was really not actually pushing much. It was more acting as a glorified fan than anything else, but still, it seems to be that it's really not putting much strain on it. So I think what I need to do next is just get that back rack and get the battery pack built, because pretty much besides that, everything's in place besides that back rack and the front brake, I guess. But the front brake, these brakes, am I right? That can be later, but really the back rack, and we're good. So I think I'm gonna have to order the back rack for the battery pack, and then next episode is just gonna be me working on the battery pack, getting everything set up, getting the wood plank, getting it fit on the back rack, and then I think I might have a functional bike. She's kind of sick. Anyway, thank you for watching part 5. I hope you have a nice day. This probably will be too long for Instagram TV. Bye.